Hey, welcome into another edition of 2911. My name is Brian Christopher Clay. I'm glad you're here. Real quick, please share this episode with somebody right now, okay? Copy the link and shoot it to a friend, maybe DM somebody or send a text. Invite them to tune in right now. It'll be a blessing. Yeah. All right, here we go. 2911 starts right now.
There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord. There is freedom in the presence of the Lord. There is freedom in the presence of the Lord. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. There is freedom in the presence of the Lord. There is healing in the presence of the Lord. There is healing in the presence of the Lord. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. There is freedom in the presence of the Lord. There is healing in the presence of the Lord. There is healing in the presence of the Lord. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. As we seek His face, He is here in this place. There is healing in the presence of the Lord. There is freedom in the presence of the Lord. There is nothing like the presence of the Lord.
Love that, love that. Welcome in again to 2911. Thanks for being here. Today I want to talk to you about change. There seems to be a guarantee in life. Change is going to happen. Yeah, change is guaranteed. It's something that we tend to fear, we get anxious about, because we don't feel like we're in control when change occurs. Sometimes we seek change, and that's an interesting dynamic. We may look for a new job, a new career, a new partner or a significant other, a new place to live, a new location where we're going to do life, a new approach as we journey towards a goal, maybe a different physical fitness regimen or improved emotional fitness. Maybe we're making attitude changes. Other times, change is thrust upon us. Yeah, change that we don't expect. All those scenarios I just mentioned, sometimes those things happen that are not our option or our choice. And then, of course, there's 2020. Talk about change, man. Talk about being thrust into change. Nearly all of our patterns, all of our behaviors changed. And they had to. I mean, in 2020, communication, interaction one with another, all that had to change. Work and business situations, all that changed. School and education for kids all the way through adults, different. Doctor visits, virtually. Shopping, using a service or contactless, okay? Worship and ministry. How about Facebook Live, YouTube, and Zoom worship, Bible study, masks everywhere, distancing, all these changes. Many of those that are working in offices, that were working in offices, it abruptly shifted to working from home, and many will never return to what we know as traditional workspaces, right? Change, man. Bible study leaders, quilters differently, preachers preaching, baristas, parents, musicians like me, retired people, our furry family members dealing with us at home all the time when that didn't used to be the case. My dog loves me right now. Yeah. Significant loss of income for people. Not being able to see or interact with family or friends. That might be the hardest thing. That might be the absolute hardest thing with all this change happening. And we've all faced change, not of our own making. We've had to figure out creative ways to, accomplish what needs to be done when change happens. And so far, most of us have managed uninvited change pretty well. There are days we've risen to the challenge and we've responded well, we've handled the business and been able to look back and say, man, we did a good job with that. That was okay. Wasn't so bad. That Zoom meeting okay. On other occasions, we fall flat, and that is just transparency and truth. I was talking with my wife about this message that I wanted to share, and I didn't want to fall flat. I told her that the message I felt God was having me share with you was this message about change, about how we choose change sometimes, but sometimes we don't, and how we deal with that. But I felt like I needed something to wrap it up, something to encourage as I wrapped it up, and nothing was really resonating with me. I wanted to be encouraging, have some sort of leading into a better place regarding this change thing end to the message, right? Wasn't coming for me. And then my wife, she went in. I mean, she straight up preached to me. Took her 3 minutes. and here's what she said. Oh my gosh, I'm laying this out to her and said, I don't know where to go. And she said, the good news in this uncomfortable change thing we all go through is that God is in control, even of our change. God is in control of our perceived chaos. And God has everything good as a result of change in the plan for us. God has a plan for all of our lives that includes hope. It includes a future, the future we hope for, the scripture in Jeremiah 29:11. See, there it is. I like my new shirt. Jeremiah 29:11. I have plans for you, plans for your hope and for your future. But more than just that, and you need to hear this very clearly, God is in every change. He is literally inside every shift and every change, everything that's different that happens in our lives. And we need to acknowledge that. We need to be aware of that. And then most importantly, even in the midst of all that is changing and all the discomfort, we need to act on the knowledge and in the comfort that God is inside the change. He is literally residing in the change for us. Okay? Just so you know, just so you're clear, I'm going to give you these. So however you take notes, get your pen and paper out. I don't know if you still do that or not. If you want to type it in your phone, in the notes app or whatever. Here we go. Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. Love it. God will never leave you nor forsake you. All right, here we go. Keep it on. Keep moving. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Don't be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Yep. Psalm 32, the 8th verse. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. See, he's there in the change, watching you, taking care. And this last one from the Message Bible translation, this is, oh my God, it's my favorite. Proverbs 3:6. It says, trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. And here's the rub. God is the one who will keep you on track. Yeah, in the midst of the change. In the last year, we've come to realize a lot of our shortcomings in so many areas. In parenting, in working from home, in loving our neighbors. But what we need to realize is we just need to show up and do the best we can. We need to admit when we're exhausted and get rest, so we can bring all the creativity and grace that we can muster into every situation. Just show up and be our authentic self in the world. And then we can step up with our beautiful, messy attempts to love each other. But God has gifted each of us. And God's gift to the world is what we have inside of us. I'll leave you with a question to consider that might help lead you to some of the answers around where we are and what we need to do. So here's the question that I want you to take with you. Here's a question to consider. How has your work in the world changed? The work that God has called you to. How has your work in the world changed? The work that God has called you to. That thing that we discuss so much here on 2911, that thing that says that God has given each of us gifts to serve man. The gift that God has given you for God's work in the world through you. Are you using it? Have you been able to make that happen in this change? Given all the changes in the last 12 months plus. Open up your mind to that question. Figure out some answers there. Take each verse that I mentioned earlier. Keep them close to your heart. They'll give you courage. They'll give you strength. They'll give you a settled feeling to continue forward because God is with you every step. Those verses remind us all that God doesn't forget you. God will light your path. God will guide you when you're uncertain. God takes your worries and your fears away. And the future's not so scary when God's by your side. Yes? Yeah? Absolutely. I'll leave you with this. A wonderful, amazing friend of mine. His name is Joseph Michael Davis. Joe Davis, a good friend and colleague in ministry. He lives in Minnesota. And because of the change in the pandemic, we were able to do something that we hadn't been able to do before. We were able to collaborate on a song and perform that song virtually together for an event. So Joe Davis, writer, spoken word artist, theologian, seminary graduate. He's working in ministry up in Minnesota where it's so needed. And well, here is what we put together during this pandemic, what a change allowed us to do. Joe Davis, he allowed me to perform with him on his song called Show Up.
We've each been called to this place, this time and this season. You may not yet know the rhyme or the reason. You may not feel, think, or believe in the same things I believe in. But we've been asked to show up. Show up wherever you are from. You can come here to be free. Bring your full selves with your head and your heart, your hands and your feet, and anything and everything infinitely beyond any duality or sexuality, gender, race, age, or ability. We all have the ability to be. Without you, I'm incomplete. Without you, there is no we. I need you not just to survive, but to thrive, to come fully awake and alive with potential and possibility. Join me at the table, for it is wide and there's lots of food to eat. So show up and be fed and feed others, satiating a different kind of hunger, fueling that fire in our bellies.
You may be hurting or afraid, but show up, gather healings on the way. Show up, we will be strong, we will be brave. Show up, dream of the world that we'll create. Show up, show up.
All will be well, we're all welcome to laugh, cry, dance, write, breathe, and bleed into the margins and follow the call to the false reaches of who we are. Whether you run, walk, crawl, even if you fall, we fall in love. But just show up. Show up to answer the call to prophetic justice, to transform both the soul and the bodily world the soul inhabits. Show up with all your awkwardness and bad habits. Show up with your doubts and questions. And when here, you can ask them. Show up with your wounds and your scars. We all have them, but know that together, we can unpack them.
You may be hurting or afraid. Show up, gather healings on the way. Show up, we'll be strong, we will be brave. Show up, dream of the world that we'll create. Show up, yeah.
You are not the magician, you are the magic. So show up to this place here where there's no grace period, there's only grace, period. Bring your fears and insecurities, let us marvel in the mystery, let us listen each other to life with a deep holy listening. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That's the sound of the genuine within you. The spirit stirring near you, but if you don't show up, how can anyone hear you? Show up. Even if you don't know for certain, you may have the truth and healing for which this world is searching. In this grand universe, we are but small workers with a big purpose, because of our hearts widening the circle. Hearts that are broken, hearts that are open so a little light can shine through, a little hope for the hopeless. Wherever you go, simply know the spirit of this place goes with you. So go, ready with sleeves rolled up, always growing, never fully grown up, ready with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, simply to show up, y'all. Never forget that you matter. All of you, your entire self. You should show up authentically, unapologetically, wherever you are, just as God has called and created you to be. No matter what the world says, no matter what your mind tries to tell you, always remember that you were created in the image of the Most High God. Show up.
up, gather healings on the way. Show up, we'll be strong, we will be brave. Show up, love the world that we'll create. Show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Just show up. God already gifted you to do what you need to do in the world. And in the midst of all the changes that are happening, God is literally in the change, and he's working so that you can work. Do your work in the world. Make a better place with all this change going on, right? Right. Love you so much. That's all I got for 2911 today. But I do leave you with this. Maya Angelou, she said this: people will forget what you say. People will forget what you do. But they will never forget how you make them feel. So make someone feel God's love today, right? Love you much. Peace.